the Design Convo Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Design Convo podcast, where we interact with creative individuals from the design industry to learn things that otherwise are a bit difficult to understand on your own, especially when you're starting as designers and illustrators. So, the show will be a safe space where we ask questions that might sound silly but make a huge difference in our lives. So, I'm your host, Shakthi Hari, and I'm going to ask the questions on everyone's behalf. I'm doing great today, and I have something else to feel good about today. Yes, you got it right. We have a fantastic illustrator slash storyteller with us, and he is also a creative entrepreneur. So he's the man responsible for thousands of people all around the globe to pick up their pencils and start sketching something every single day for 100 days a year. Yes, he started the 100 Days of Sketching challenge that took the internet by storm. Simply put, this is an intelligent guy who knows how to do things independently. To be honest, we actually scheduled the podcast session about, I don't know, around December 2021, and we had to keep postponing it due to various reasons from both of our ends. And just 3 weeks ago, Kesh and his team were affected by bloody COVID. So, unfortunately, and finally, we are here, and I can't tell you how excited I am to do this. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Keshav Rathnavel, or Kesh, as the millennials and the Gen Z know him on the internet. Welcome to the show, Kesh. It's
Hey
an
man,
absolute
thank
honor
you.
to host you.
No,
All right.
my pleasure,
Um,
my pleasure. Thank you.
all right.
Uh, Sorry, you can still hear me, right? I'm just got
I can, I
confused there
can,
for
I
a second.
can.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
all
you
right.
can.
Well, that's the honest way we started then. All right. That's one hell of an intro. Thank you. And two, right, man. I just want to say this. You have a really nice setup in the back. Looks really
Thank you so
nice.
much, man.
You,
You have
you
been
got
one
it.
of the inspirations to do things on my own. So I have been setting up my space. So I used to live
Yeah,
in
no,
Bangalore
that's
almost a year back.
uh-huh.
And when COVID happened, I moved back with my parents, and it's a small house. So I rented a small
It's
property nearby. Now it's kind of
uh-huh.
my studio, and it's been really amazing
That is
to have
clever.
the whole
That's how you
space.
do it. That's how you do it. That is great. That is great. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Like where is like I literally rented out space near my my own place, and yeah, it's
Mhm,
serving really well. Slightly
mhm,
outgrowing it right now. So yeah, I mean,
mhm.
eventually, yeah, it's good. It's good progression. Good progression.
So, Kesh, I did a lot of background. I shouldn't say check. I in fact stalked
Hmm.
you over the past couple of weeks, looking at what you've been up to. For the audience, can you give us a short introduction in your own words, so we can take us through the entire journey you have walked through?
Right. Short introduction about myself. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh boy! Now you're trapping me right there. All right, who am I? Well, that's an existential question. Let's start with a simple answer. I am an illustrator at first,
Hmm.
at heart, an artist, a draftsman, a character designer. I love making videos. I love filmmaking. Hence, I started a YouTube channel and started posting videos there, trying to combine my love for filmmaking and art and trying to find a middle ground between that. And then storytelling, I love telling stories. I think it's one of the most important aspects of my creativity. And I've done a bunch of things online. I like teach people through my programs and courses, and I try to run a yearly challenge called 100 Days of Sketching,
Hmm.
where we like simply just draw off every day for like 6 minutes a day. That is pretty much it. This is what I do. This is what I do.
Okay.
A soon to
Though
be
you
animator
sound so
and
humble,
an
you're not.
man, when you were wait before that, yes, soon to be animation filmmaker.
Oh,
That's what I'm, yeah, that's what I'm going after right now. So it's slowly coming to fruition. All the financial foundations I've been trying to lay down over the past few years and like slowly building
Mhm.
up to animation is it's slowly coming to fruition. But yeah, anyways, well, the thing was, even when you were like talk you were going through the intro, right? I didn't realize I did these things. It was
Mhm.
kind of one surreal, and two, it sort of scares me in a way that I really feel it might get to my head, you know
Mhm.
that is a big problem that I have, which is like ego, like managing my ego and just trying to stay humble. So I try to play myself as a humble person, but I don't think internally I'm a humble person. So yeah.
You are, man. You are. Looking at how I've been talking and taking things all over the internet, you are really a humble guy. And one thing which I noticed about
Hmm.
getting a time slot from your calendar, right? So
Hmm.
it's always like it falls on Thursday, and especially at 2 to 3. So I for some reason can sense that you are a person who follows a strict timeline, I would say, have a set of habits and workflow through the day. So how does a day in your life look like?
Well, so a day in my life looks like this. So the reason I try to push meetings to the afternoon is because,
Hmm.
excuse me, I try to sort of get done the most important task of the day earlier in the day. So here's
Hmm.
how my general framework for a day goes.
Hmm.
I wake up, I do my morning routine, which has been 10 minutes of meditation and like a bit of journaling, and then I like stretch for a bit, while my mom or grandma makes me black coffee, right? Like with no sugar. That's how I want it, right? And I drink my coffee and then work out. That's
Hmm.
another. So I try to follow like 5 to 6 habits every day, so that
Hmm.
I feel like I have saved my day from being wasted. Because in the past, I've wasted a lot of days. When I was done with college and when I was done with high school, I was just roaming around trying to find things, trying to understand things, and was like explore and do all that stuff. And I couldn't exactly, you know, make the most out of my days, right?
Hmm.
So I try to follow like 5 to 6 habits. One is trying to wake up early, 6 to 7 o'clock, and
Hmm.
then so this is very recently actually. My sleep schedule was very messed up. I'm no perfect person. I used to like go to bed at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock sometimes, and then wake up at like 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, and that
All right.
affected work. So the first habit is wake up 6 to 7 a.m. I try, and that's been going well recently. Then do my morning routine, which has sort of been the same, something similar like this for the past 6 7 years,
Hmm.
almost. So the meditation, the journaling, the exercising in the morning for like 30 to 45 minutes, I get that thing done. Come to work. I always try to make a to-do list the night before, and if I don't make a to-do list the night before, I'm like clueless for the following day. So I like try to like write down all the things I wish I can get done the next day, and usually it's just like three things maximum, three things that I want to get done. And so I focus on the most important task of the day most of the time, right? For example, today, right? Like today and yesterday, it was just so tiring for me. I don't know why I couldn't do anything productive, quote unquote productive.
Hmm.
This today morning, I was just thinking about a particular decision that I need to make. So I was like sitting
Okay.
down for like 1.5 hours writing. Like so the way I think is like try to write things down and see, put all the options down, and see which one works better. So it doesn't.
Hmm.
I don't consider that work, but I try to do that.
Okay.
So some days are productive, some days are not. So I try to get these three things done, and then what, go home, lunch, then back to work, and then go home, then watch TV and go to bed. I have a very simple boring life actually.
No, that actually sounds fun because you have this. Should I call it the ability to be independent? So when you work for some of the firm or companies, right? You always have
Mhm.
things coming up that actually messes up your sleep cycle or your workout routine or anything, even
Yeah.
slots like lunch, yeah, and do that.
Oh,
So
that's
since you,
interesting.
yeah, since you are
I
talking
don't I don't
about
know that. I don't know that.
that I have a question coming up next, so which is actually connects these things. And
Sure.
since you mentioned about passing out of college and
Hmm.
roaming the streets and actually pursuing art once you pass out of college, so how
Right.
was the journey for you? What did you actually study, major in, and how did you end up as an
Right.
artist?
Right. Well, let's see. I think the reason why you're probably asking this question is so that you can find relatability and see how one can actually go make that transition, right, from college and passing out of college to sort of
Yeah,
making yourself
yeah,
out making
yeah.
making it as an independent artist. Well, I'll try to
Mm-hmm.
sort of answer in that context.
Mm-hmm.
One, so I studied BSc electronic media. That means sort of filmmaking, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
filmmaking.
Okay.
We did some filmmaking. We studied. It was a lot of theoretical knowledge which I didn't find helpful,
Mm-hmm.
and I studied that in college. I studied that because I knew that I'll have time for YouTube,
Okay.
which was not true because I just went to college, wasted most of my time, and speaking of wasting days, right? I wasted a lot of my days on very unproductive things. It didn't help out,
Mm-hmm.
and so I finished college. And the day I finished college, so I come from a not so good, well-off family financially.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Even though I look like it definitely look like it, speak like it, and talk like it.
Mm-hmm.
People mistake me for this super. I don't know. It's a thing that it's a thing in India, right? You got a
Yeah.
fairly lighter skin guy who has an accent, makes
Yeah.
YouTube videos online, and all of a sudden, man, his parents must be loaded, man, like they're rich and all that stuff, right? That's
Yeah.
not the case with me, at least, right? So we were struggling financially. So on the very last day of my exam, I got a job interview. I just applied for tons of jobs, actually.
Okay.
On the very last day of my exam, I finished my exam. My friend dropped me at the bus stand. I catch a bus to the city, and then go from there, go to the office, attend the job interview, and I landed the job because I had a YouTube channel, right?
Okay.
I worked there for like 7 to 8 months. Then there is this thing that hits me, right? Which is like, this is not me, right? This is not me, like
Mm.
me sitting, because I know what my potential is. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just felt that during that job. It was a good job, though. It was a very fun job at an ad agency, doing what I loved. Right? It was
Mm-hmm.
videography. Yeah, video producer. That was my
Okay.
job title.
Okay.
But I felt like I could do a lot more with the talent that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I just worked there for a couple of months, like 6 7 months or 8 months, and after that I couldn't just take it. you know
Okay.
Partly because what can I say, there was this little inkling in me, is like, man, I think you can just go and do this thing on your own by yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
probably make a bit more money than you're at the job, right? If you know
Yeah.
how to actually get clients and how to get freelance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I did that for a year. I was just broke for
Okay.
2016. All of 2016 is like broke, 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 and
Okay.
again broke. Right. So, but during that time, what I did was I took freelance jobs that paid me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
So it was paying me a little here, paying me a little there, and back then YouTube didn't make any money, not even like a
Okay.
single dime.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was doing YouTube at that point for like 5 or 6 years. It didn't click, it didn't work out. And because I wasn't good, actually, that is the reason, right? So one of the things I try to remind myself is like, if something is not working out, most of the time it's probably you, most of the time, right?
Okay.
You just need to level up your skills. If
Okay.
you're not getting the results that you want, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's not some random external factor that's against you. It's more 90% of the time you need to level up the skills. So
Mm.
I wasn't that good at making YouTube. 2017, I really started to zone in, right?
Okay.
Because I don't like to, what do you say, I don't like to be a burden on my family. I want to be the provider, not the taker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was really focused. 2016, a bunch of things happened as well. So I think my journey is mine, and I don't think most people need to really look at what is going to work for them and really find it. For
Mm-hmm.
me, ever since I was a kid, money used to be a big problem. Like financially, it was just hard.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom, she her struggling to keep up the family and all that. And ever since I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna solve this thing. I used to have nightmares actually. Like I had so much of a problem with this. I used to have nightmares. I once had a nightmare like that I was in Australia, right? I've never been to Australia, but I was in Australia with my mom, and we weren't let inside of a shop because we were poor. They're like they literally kicked us out. So I was like that feeling felt really bad, and I
Mm-hmm.
woke up and was like, I need to do something about this thing, right? And there were a couple of other situations that put me in a place where I was like, this is it, no more. Not only I'm going to make it as an artist, I'm going to be a
Mm-hmm.
rich freaking artist, right? Like I'm going to be loaded with money. That's like do what I absolutely love,
Mm-hmm.
serve people to the maximum fullest of my capabilities, create the most useful products, and make a lot of money. It's like that's simple. Right now, money is not a big goal. So the thing was, though, right? I don't know what happened. Even though the money part was a big requirement, I never went after money, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm going to do the thing that I love. I'm going to
Okay.
be of service to other people, either
Mm-hmm.
through entertainment or education or any way, shape, or form. And
Okay.
then, things might happen. That's what I was watching a lot of Gary Vee back then. So yeah.
Okay.
So 2016, it was like that. 2017, I gave myself 100 days, right? Literally, I gave myself
Mm-hmm.
100 days. Told myself in 100 days, I'm going to make my YouTube work. I'm going to make this
Okay.
damn thing work. If it doesn't work, guess what? I still have the skills. I can go get a job, right?
Yeah.
So I like put a little, what do you say, like a little 100 days to go on my whiteboard, and
Okay.
every single day I'll make some progress. It wasn't like I was like working so hard every single day. I was doing a lot of work on one day I'll just do a little. I try to make progress every single little day, right? I was like
Mm-hmm.
trying my best. That's amazing, right? So I follow this psychologist guy. His name is Jordan Peterson, and he says this: work as hard as you can on one
Mm-hmm.
thing and see what happens. I don't know him back then. I didn't know this particular principle back then, but that's what I did. I like worked really hard as I can on YouTube, and boom, within like 60, 70 days, one of my videos clicked, and all of a sudden went viral. It's probably because of the effort that you put in, and the surrounding and the environment is like, yep, yeah, you know what, let's give it to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it worked. Then I went from like 7,000 subscribers to like 40,000 subscribers, and like then 40 went to 70. But that's also because of all the work that I've been putting in for the past 5 years. People were like coming in and looking at the recent video,
Mm-hmm.
and they saw that video. I was like, man, that's some good quality videos. And they went back to the old stuff and said, man, this guy's been doing it for like a long time right now. I'd like to probably watch all of this thing.
Yeah.
So it sort of happened like that. Then I
Yeah.
started teaching, which I didn't know that I liked teaching, and not to boost my own ego. I don't like to do that most of the time, but I think I do have a really good skill for teaching. Like I can really understand concepts and dissect concepts, and uh, like convey it to people in such a way that they can learn, and set up systems
Yeah.
in such a way that they can actually really get good at this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I started teaching workshops and all that. So by 2018, right, I was making a decent money off of just YouTube alone. Like 2018,
Mm-hmm.
2019, and it paid me enough to, it paid me like a good Indian accountant job,
Mm-hmm.
like a
Okay.
CA or like a CA trainee working in a firm and all that. It was paying me that much, and
Okay.
life was fine. But here's the thing though. So you, let's say you have like a goal, right? I had a goal like I'm going to make this much, like 50K, 70K per month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once I achieved that goal, some sort of like a voice came in. I was like, that's it. What I'm going to do right now, I don't know, right? and it was boring. It was so boring for like a long period of time. And I like stopped YouTube, then started YouTube again. I didn't know what I was doing. Then eventually it came to a point. It's not about like chasing after these goals. It's about like doing projects one bit at a
Mm.
time and being useful with your time. That's it. Like
Yeah.
there's no maximum end purpose magical thing at the end. It's just like do something useful, keep doing that. Yeah, you'll be fine, right? So that's my working principle right now. So then 100 days of sketching started, that blew up. Then drawing
Mhm.
camp started, that blew up. And
Mhm.
then then here we are, and hopefully next step is animation. Hopefully that will blow up, right? So I mean, blow up in the sense, when I say blow up, it'll be like, oh, is it like Mr. Beast blow up? No. It's like my kind of level of success is like, yeah, the standard is
Okay.
slightly low. So yeah, that's does that give you like a clear picture,
Oh
or
my
is it
God,
is it
it gives the entire picture, man. So that
okay?
has been the I don't know. That's the most inspiring thing I heard in a couple of weeks. So in fact, I'm kind of
No.
getting goosebumps here.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing this.
One more thing I'd like to add to that, right? So
Mhm.
so one of the things that I would say to like people who are trying to come up is slowly invest things that you earn little
Mhm.
by little into your business. Meaning you are your business. Meaning
Mhm.
if you want to make money with your art, you need to treat yourself like a business, because
Mhm.
you need to be disciplined. You need to know what you're offering. You need
Mhm.
to do a lot of things.
Mhm.
And invest things. So when I had little money, what I do is I
Mhm.
take some of it for my personal purposes and take most of
Mhm.
it, put it back in. Like I buy a new microphone, I'd buy a new
Mhm.
camera, a new lens, and then I'll think like, okay, what would make my videos better? Then with very little money I hired my first ever employee. And
Mhm.
first actually went with an intern because I couldn't afford an employee. I
Okay.
pay like a nice internship salary. Then I
Okay.
went to my part-time employee. Then I came to
Mhm.
my full-time person, and then came my second full-time, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one. So it was like one little step at a time. But when you look back at things, and you'll be like, oh boy, that's a lot of progress. I mean, even a
Mhm.
couple of days back, I was just drying where are you from actually?
I'm from this place called Jayankondam. It's a
Oh,
small
where is
town
that?
in Arilu district. It's in Arilu district near Trichy.
Near Trichy. Okay. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Tamil person then. All right.
Yeah.
And so I'm in Chennai. I was
Mhm.
driving by, I think, T Nagar,
Mhm.
right? So I was literally driving by T Nagar after
Mhm.
going to my auditor's office, talking about accounts and like filing taxes and everything.
Mhm.
And uh, I've never done any of these things, right? Like I've been only doing it for the past couple of years, because
Okay.
all of these things, when you start a business, man, the admin stuff is like boring. But you need to take care of those things, right?
Yeah.
So I was just going by, and remember, like 6 years back, I was literally standing there waiting for a bus with like 200 rupees in my pocket. And I was like, man, life has been good for me. I had like 200 rupees in my pocket, and I'm paying tons, and I'm like, I was worried about like paying a lot of taxes, because I need to be paying a lot of taxes. That's the thing. Like, but people like, pay your damn taxes. It's good. It's better to pay your taxes, right? So
Of
I was
course.
like, but a huge chunk of your money goes away to the government, right? I was a little bit, nervous about that. I was like, man, I need to pay that much. Okay, fine, I'll pay it. I was just worried about that. Then when I went through that road, it's like I had just had 200 bucks. Wow, what am I worried about, right? So it was like a stark little thing. So yeah, it'll happen, right? I think people just need to like keep on progressing, keep on investing things in the right places in the right time, and things will happen for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about investing back, I also went
Hmm.
through a video of yours where you say you took a loan from a bank to get your first camera.
Yes. Yes. I
That's
took a
that's the first
personal
time
loan.
I didn't know you could get a loan to buy a camera until then.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
I
what
didn't.
what
I
you need
didn't.
to do is you need to treat yourself like a business, right? So here's what I did. I just went to the bank manager, I showed her my YouTube channel. Thankfully,
Okay.
thank her. God bless her soul. She showed her my YouTube channel. I told, hey, this is the business. This is the earning potential, right? I used to make this much in my day job, and I can make this much right now. I've been doing freelancing and all that, and I need money. It wasn't a business loan, it was a personal loan, but still I explained her my business because the bank need, I didn't have like a good transaction record and all that back then. It's like, who cares about like 100 and 200 rupee transactions, right? So I showed her that I told her, I gave her my confidence. I told her, you know what, I'll probably, sell this thing back. And thankfully they were good. They gave me my first loan. I made my YouTube, I made a couple of videos with that, and then I got another loan. Now, by the way, right? So looking back, maybe I didn't have to take that loan. To be honest, I could have done that in a different way. I'm a big believer of not taking on any debt, right? Like, don't take on any debt. Even like, most banks will call you up and they say, hey, you've got a pre-approved personal loan for like 18%. Don't
Yeah.
do it. And especially, good advice which I got was, never do business on borrowed money, because you're
Yeah.
just earning the borrower more money than you making yourself. Except for a home loan, if you know what you're doing, go get it. Right? I'd watch Dave Ramsey's advice on like getting home loans and all like that. He's like a financial advisor. But
Okay.
never borrow, never take debt for the most part. Use it as a leverage if you know what you're doing. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I
Of
didn't
course,
take that
man.
loan, and I
Yeah.
paid it off. I paid it off with like my day job money.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree, man. So becoming financially independent is like every designer's dream, right? So how do you think a creative individual should plan his or her streams of income? So what are the streams of income that any budding designer can work on and leverage throughout their life?
Right. Okay. So I'll give you like probably I'll try to articulate like a step by step thing, or at least what has worked for me. Right. So one, it is good to think in terms of streams of income, having multiple streams of income, right?
Okay.
But as the popular saying goes, chase two rabbits, you catch neither one, right? So it is always good to pick a quote unquote opportunity vehicle, meaning a space, a product, or a service where you can earn a lot, right? You pick that particular space and you go all into that space, right? It's better for you to actually focus on one thing, make that stream of income a solid 80% of your income, and then using the money from that particular stream, then trying to build another stream. But it shouldn't take away from the focus of the first stream, right? Because when you try to do multiple things, you tend to lose focus, right? So any creative person who's trying to start out, I'd say this: see what you're good at, right? That is first step. See what you're good at. And then step two, literally, I'd like for people, I'll try to imagine this like a practical step. First step, see what you're good at, write it down on your journal or notebook or rough note or whatever you use, right? First, write that thing down. Number two, see, business works in two different ways. One is product or service. When I'm like making YouTube videos, I'm providing a service for people. I'm providing entertainment, education, information, and I'm like trying to teach them. I'm trying to like, share them my journey and show them what I've been doing. So that is like a service, right? Product is if you make something digital or physical, right? So see what you're good at. And step two is see what kind of a product or a service that you can create that has a good opportunity at the top, meaning it can scale to higher levels. For example, if you go into merchandising, right, most people, first thing that they do is merchandising. Fun fact, if you're not doing a lot of volume on merchandising, meaning if you're not selling thousands and thousands of units per month, you're not going to make a sustainable living selling merchandise. Unless if you're like focusing on a very unique product that stands out in the market. If you're starting out with like a very simple thing like t-shirts, mugs, posters, and prints and all that thing, there's so much competition in that market, and it's so saturated. Most people won't do that well. unless we're like a very few who've been doing it for a long time or who are doing it in a slightly different way, right? So why did I say this? Like, yeah, pick something that has like a higher chance of growth, right? And really push hard on that particular thing, right? Create some sort of a product, create some sort of a service, and make sure it is something that is very, very different. That is step three, right? Step one, step two, and step three. Make sure it's super different. Step four is you create, sit down and create that product, right? You sit down, you make that particular product. If it's going to take a very long time for you to make it, like 1.5 years, 1 year, and 2 years, then what you do is split it into phases, right? Many little phases, and start with the first phase. Try to make a minimum viable product, right? See if your idea works out, right? Because most people spend so much time building their product or service for like so long of a time, and when they launch it, that's crickets, right? Like nobody buys it, right? There's no market for that thing. So the first step is like design the product or service, try to test it in the market, see if people actually want it. A lesson from my own experiences, I try to make posters and prints on my first thing, right? I like put together all these complex things, like I printed a bunch of posters, got the stickers down, bought the poster tube, I was ready to ship hundreds and hundreds of posters. And when I launched it, guess how many people bought it? Five. I sold like five posters, right?
Okay.
So then I realized people didn't want posters. People wanted something exclusive. And people do want posters, obviously, but it takes time. It takes time, right? So first you need to know the kind of thing that the market wants, your audience wants. You need to know what that particular thing is, and you need to design that particular thing, and you need to test it in such a way that even if it fails, you don't fail, right? Let's say you're spending 5,000 rupees creating your product, or 1,000 rupees creating your product, right? Even if that you launch that product, you test that product, you like put it out to your followers, and you say, or like your thing, and you say, hey, guess what, this is here, buy it. Nobody buys it, you should survive. That is business lesson number two that I follow, which is like, take calculated risks, in the sense like, don't gamble, but risks in such a way that even if you take that risk, even if it fails, your head will be above water, right? So that's one of the things. So yeah, test your products. If it works, scale, put more out, make your product bigger, make your product better, and then know that creating your product or service is not only the first thing. You need to also market it, which is two very, very important thing. I've created tons of things, man, I'm telling you, right? I've created things that I think people would like, and it failed. And I've created things that I know that people would like, and people did like, but it didn't do well because I didn't tell people that it existed, right?
Okay.
So people need to know your stuff exists, and you need to find creative ways, because you don't want to go and advertise them. It's like, oh, yeah, hey, here's my product, buy it. And that's like the old way of doing things, right?
Yeah.
You got to do it in a slightly creative way, in a way that speaks to them, right? So create something and put it out there. One last thing before I end this answer, right? I would highly recommend this book called Rework by Jason Fried. Jason Fried or Jason
Yeah.
Fried? I can't pronounce his name. I love that book. That book has been sort of like my Bible for the past 2 years in terms of like business and thinking. And I would highly recommend that book to any creative entrepreneur to sort of, read. It's so short, so simple. Read that, follow it to the T, you'll be fine.
All right. Thanks for sharing
Mhm.
this, man. It's
Sure,
like
sure.
pretty detailed. Yeah. Talking about communities and getting an MEP to the market. So to
Mhm.
get feedback and to interact with
Mhm.
people, you should. I personally feel that you should have a strong community that actually supports your work, who actually buys your work, and you have a wonderful and large community on all social
Mhm.
platforms. So what do you
Mhm.
think is the influence of building a community, especially if you're a independent or a freelance artist?
It is important, right? It is important to have like a community, build your following and all that, but that shouldn't be the sole focus.
Hmm.
because this day and age, I think the follower count seems like your badge of honor right now, right? Like how much
Yeah.
followers you share. As a
Yeah.
person, who, when I had like 4,000 followers, my dream goal was like 100,000 followers. Like, oh
Mhm.
wow, 1 lakh people following me, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Once you reach that thing, I think it's the same thing with money and all that, right? Once you reach that thing, it's all important. So it is,
Yeah.
the point is, okay, I'm digressing. It is important to build a community and like have following and all that.
Hmm.
It is easier to sort of, take your product and give it to them, sell it to them. I think I've seen so many products and services who have started with zero followers and have
Hmm.
really built up only based on the sole quality of their product. Meaning, it's actually way better. Instead, if you really want to, if I was starting over again, what I would probably do is structure myself like a business instead of like a personality, like Kesh,
Yeah.
the guy, right? I would structure myself like a business, and like something like, think of like Apple, right? You think of Apple, you don't think of like a company, you think of like quality, or you think of like overpriced phones. Just kidding. Right? So, you think of something more than just a company. At least they try to do
Mm.
something beyond phones and iPads, right? So
Yeah.
it is also a good way. I've seen a tons of business examples. The best way to be like a good creative entrepreneur, right? Look at people outside your field. I've noticed certain companies in the food space, right? One is called the Protein Brownie. Feel Mighty. Yeah, Feel Mighty. They sell protein brownies. How clever is that? People love to eat brownies, but it's too much calories, so they get fat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what they did was they lowered the calories and put it full of protein. And it's like, boom,
Hmm.
protein brownies. So like I buy packs and packs of that and eat it like a kid. So and there's another thing called Brooklyn Creamery. It's low
Okay.
calorie ice cream, and it's only
Hmm.
75 calories or 65 calories per like 100 grams. A 100-gram ice cream is usually like 300-400 calories, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you get to have your ice cream and not put on too much weight, right? It's
Yeah.
bad for your gut though. I mean, I don't like it, but yeah, this is like, see how clever that thing is, right?
Yeah.
Another example is my I've known him, Ronak Mangotham, right?
Okay.
So he's the creator of Fully Filmy. So what they did was
Hmm.
they took their passion and love for films and
Hmm.
put it on merchandises and T-shirts. And right now they're like one of the largest, what do you say, film merchandise companies in the country, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's they started out as a company. They didn't start out as a personality. They literally, I was there. I mean, I wasn't
Yeah.
technically there, but I was
Hmm.
nearby somewhere there. In the sense,
Hmm.
the people, the ad agency which I worked at, where I worked
Hmm.
at, 3 people out of those agency before I came in, like a month or two ago, they quit their jobs and went and started out their thing.
Okay.
So that's how I sort of came to know about these people. And they started
Okay.
out with like one Instagram post and like 30 followers or 40 followers, and look where they are right now, right?
Yeah.
So, and they're like doing big. So yeah, you can do both ways. Build
Hmm.
yourself like a creative person, and then offer your audience a product or a service that you can buy. Or
Hmm.
you can just start yourself like a business, treat yourself like a business, and do things.
Okay.
One reading material that I would give people, right? There is this
Hmm.
thing called 1000 True Fans,
Okay.
an article called 1000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly. The thing is this: you
Hmm.
don't need hundreds and thousands of fans, right? You don't need
Okay.
that. You just need 1000 true fans who would buy your
Hmm.
stuff. Think
Okay.
about it. You just need 1000 true fans who buys your stuff like what, $49 per year, right?
Hmm.
1,000 people buying your stuff for $49,000,
Yeah.
$49. So
Hmm.
you're making $49,000 per year. And how hard it is to build 1,000 true fans? It's not that hard. You just need to like really like find people and like go add value to them. Hey, here's what.
Yeah.
Let me help you out. Here's what. Let me be of service to you. Here's what. Here's the thing that might help you. Like
Yeah.
go serve, and it'll come back. That's the
Yeah.
thing, though.
All right. Man, you know that the recommendations you have been giving, it's been amazing. So,
Oh yeah,
what are the
good.
books, podcasts, and authors would you recommend to, especially artists and from business perspective?
All right. So rework is definitely one. That one thing
Hmm.
helped me. There are
Okay.
very few books in my life that really helped me. Right. It was
Okay.
like
Hmm.
life changing. I buy copies of that book and keep it, like try to give it to other people. One is rework. The other one
Hmm.
is the one thing by the name of the book is like the one thing by Gary
Hmm.
Keller and Jay Papasan or Papasan.
Okay.
I'm not familiar again with the name. That book is all about focus, like focusing on one particular thing, going after that, right? Like go all in on that, right? So that is one. Dr. Jordan Peterson, he's been a massive freaking influence on the way I do work, and most people think he's like a right wing, racist, transphobic, sexist person, but he is not. He is
Okay.
he's such an articulate, uh, very thoughtful, probably very kind person as well,
Hmm.
and definitely knows a lot about the realities of life. I've been listening to a lot of his lectures, and and most of his lectures online has really helped me to put myself together. I would recommend Gary Vee. Gary Vee,
Hmm.
the entrepreneur. I don't know what is up with the hate that he's getting online right now these days, because he's been a bit too pushy with his content. Probably that's one of the reasons. But his underlying message is very good. Like add
Hmm.
value, right? That's where I got most of my business principles. Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. That is the
Yeah.
book which I read back in 2015 or 2016. I was trying to
Hmm.
understand business. So that is one good book. People can, it lays down the principles of online media. See, the thing is, you need to know how to run and how to be an artist and how to run a business. Two skills, right? You need to know how to do that, even if it's not the online or the internet age, because the principles for running the business are the same. The tactics changes depending on environment and the times we are in. So yeah, that's one thing. So Gary Vee, Jordan Peterson, rework, the one thing. Jake Parker's work, his podcast, 3 Point Perspective. I would highly recommend that. Good
Hmm.
podcast. I love the Creative Pep Talk by Andy J. Pizza. I've
Is
seen.
that? Yeah.
I don't listen to a lot of that right now, but I used to listen
Hmm.
to a lot of that. Who else? Yeah, these are the people. Steal Like an Artist. Austin Kleon's
Hmm.
books, 3 books. Steal Like an Artist, keep going, and show your work. Like
Yeah.
really honest and good books that people can read. So these are all like the
Okay.
resources. Tim Ferriss, man,
Okay.
I'm just adding so much stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tim
Sure
Ferriss
thing. No
podcast.
worries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tim Ferriss
Those are the
has
things.
had such an influence in my life. I mean, I'm a huge fan of his 4 Hour Work Week book.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's like kind of
Oh
overrated
yes.
or something. 4 Hour Work Week.
Oh boy. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think I need to reread that book actually. I think I'll have
Yeah.
completely different, because the last time I read it I was broke. Right now I just need to like go reread it again
Yeah.
and see from a new different perspective,
Hmm.
because that's a really good book. That's a great way to set up a business. It's a
Yeah,
great way
and
to set up a
and the
business.
facts he pulls up and the way he asks you to get out of the mundane work and all the responsibilities, it's like it hits you hard every single time I read it. And
Oh
yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. Hey, you know what? One thing which
Mhm.
I'm derailing from this topic entirely, of course. And
Yeah.
one thing which I noticed about the drawing camps and the courses which are up on your
Hmm.
website,
Right.
and believe me when I tell this, I've seen so many other artists who actually put up courses. Why
Uh-huh.
do you price them as low as possible? Is there a intention behind it, or what's the story behind it?
I was too broke to buy courses when I started out, and I was like, I'm just going to price it low so that people can get it. So that is
Okay,
the reason it started out.
okay,
Then
okay,
slowly, reality hit me that I cannot just
okay.
keep on pricing it too low, because I
Hmm.
need to pay overhead. I need to pay people, because drawing camp like takes like 3 people to edit,
Of
and
course.
right now we're done. But yeah, it's like takes people to edit, and it takes people to like manage the tech behind we're like trying to build a new website right now,
Hmm.
and yeah, so I price it so that people would be useful, But I'll
Mm-hmm.
try tell you my honest learnings in the past year, which was people don't people people don't value cheap things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even if you put a lot of effort. For example, the work that I've put into drawing cam and the value that I've put into it, the same kind, but half of the content, half of the information, other people are charging 297, 300, $497, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pricing it
Yeah,
at like 69 and 89.
of
And
course.
yeah, right. So
Yeah.
I'm just I thought people I thought that would be this one guy like me who's like dedicated enough, but probably he doesn't have the money and all that stuff. So he would go and get it and just be useful. And I feel right now these days, most people, they buy it. So the good thing about drawing camp, the way it's structured, is in a daily format, right? So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people do it. The completion rate is good. The completion rate is very good compared to like other online courses. But
Mm-hmm.
I still feel like a lot of people buy it and they tell me, man, I didn't do it for like a while right now. It's like, then why did
Okay.
you buy it? Right. So then I realized that people need to pay something. Nothing in this world is free, right?
Yeah,
If you get something for free, then that means you're the product,
of
you're
course.
the thing. And
Yeah.
free is very, very expensive to give. So when
Mm-hmm.
someone gives it something to you away for free,
Mm.
you're getting it for free, but they're paying for it somewhere else. And eventually they'll run out of money to pay for it. And you'll
Yeah.
stop getting things for free.
Yeah.
So that is definitely going to, that's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
So what I feel right now these days is like people need to really invest themselves, and one of the ways they can show investment of their personal commitment is through money,
Mm-hmm.
right? One of
Yeah.
the ways, right? It doesn't have to be all the time, but yeah. Yeah, these days I just feel like I'm just not gonna sell drawing camera at a discount anymore. Just put
Okay.
full price, and
Yeah.
I'll just keep it like this: like full price or free. Come on, check out my free courses. Is
Mm-hmm.
it like there's no middle ground? I don't know. This the been it's been a lot of frustration because every single time the amount of money that I've invested in drawing cam over the past years is insane. That
Mm-hmm.
the things that I needed to buy, because I try. So again, coming to business, right? Business things. So a lot of people do courses. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to do courses. I want to do
Yeah.
what I call a program. So
Okay.
here's another thing. So what I did was I used to be a very fat kid, right? Used to be
Okay.
big and fat, meaning like 95
Okay.
kilos, around that range during my
Okay.
school years. So I used to do this program called P90X. P90X is this
Okay.
popular fitness program. So you just put on the DVD, you press play,
Mm-hmm.
and you just follow along, and you do the exercises and all that stuff. And I was like, man, I need something like this for drawing, right?
Okay.
So I try to create the P90X for drawing. So that is what drawing camp is. So you just like there's like lesson, exercise,
Mm-hmm.
and drawing to sort of what do you say? Put that exercise into action, and you're done within
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes per day, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it sort of worked, even though it's priced so cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and it worked well because of the structure. Yeah, so create something different, right? Like create something that is very, very different, and that will work for your creative business.
Of course. Yeah. I
Hmm.
totally agree with that, man. Since you mentioned about humans being the product when something is free, right? And we
Hmm.
have the metaverse and all this shit coming up. How do you think this is going to affect us artists, the industry mainly? Is it going to
I'm
make a
not
change or should
educated.
we adapt?
Well, my ego says it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be very bad for not just artists, for everyone. But my
Okay.
rational part of me says I'm not educated enough to answer this because I don't have enough information. But I
Mm-hmm.
would say something in the middle. Things are going to radically change in the near future, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
things are going to really develop. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe not in 15 years or 20 years, maybe 50 years. I don't know. Things are definitely going to change. I mean, think about the
Okay.
world we are in right now. Couldn't even imagine it 20 years back, right?
Okay.
So things are going to change. The
Mm-hmm.
art space is going to change. The need for artists will change because people need
Mm.
to think in terms of where their services are going to and how they're making money. right?
Hmm.
uh, it's a big thing, man. It's a big cycle, actually. It's so big, I don't know how to even explain it. If I
Yeah.
start, it'll go on for hours. So it is going to change. Artists, one thing I would say is this, right? Adapt.
Hmm.
Adapt, develop, or, this is going to sound harsh, but I don't mean it as harsh, choose to die, and that is fine. Meaning,
Okay.
there will be technological developments that I might like and things that I won't like. And I know when I don't adapt to those things, my business will probably go down, or well, in anything that the money that I make would go down. At that point in time, I can either choose to adapt or choose to
Hmm.
die, and I should be okay with it because I made the bet, right? I made the bet. I need to sleep in it. So
Yeah.
yeah, things are going to change. Get ready. That's a
Yeah.
very bad way to
That's
put
that,
it.
that's true, man. That's totally true. Hey, you know
Hmm.
what? I have one last question for you. So
Sure.
this is a question which I've been having in my mind for a long time.
Okay.
So you have a ton of platforms where you can actually build and uh, host your
Hmm.
courses like Skillshare
Right. Right.
and all these platforms, right? What
Right. Right.
made
Right.
you
Right.
go with your own platform or your website? First thing.
Right.
Second thing is, what are the steps involved in setting up online
Hmm.
course yourself? So, say for
Okay.
example, someone like you or someone like me wants
Hmm.
to set up a course. What's
Hmm.
the path we have to take, and what's the steps we need to go through?
All right. So yeah, I'll give you like a lot of practical tips right now. So
Yeah.
to start with, mindset. Number one, know
Hmm.
that the course market is getting saturated. Right?
Yeah.
People don't want any more courses. They're tired of
Hmm.
courses. They don't want
Okay.
courses. They want a transformation. A
Hmm.
course is just a vehicle to go to that transformation. So what one needs to think of is, how can you provide the transformation? It doesn't have to be a course. They just want the transformation, right? So think how you can get to the transformation, right? But speaking of courses, course market is saturated. What's going to grow though? I think it's the recent data which I got was, I was watching a YouTube video from another person, and they said the e-learning market is going to be $360 billion by 2026. So
Oh my god.
that's a huge freaking market right there.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I decided to go with my own platform is because I had an audience, and I knew that going and selling my content to someone else, right? I'm still in their handle, right?
Yeah.
I go and do my course on Skillshare. I love Skillshare, by the way. I do have one class over there,
Hmm.
but I go and sell my stuff over there on Skillshare. It's like you don't get access to the audience. You can't reach out to them after it, and you get paid pennies on the dollar, and you
Hmm.
need a huge amount of thing. It works for a very few set of people, right? People
Hmm.
with huge amounts of audience. It works for them. If you're
Yeah.
like having a small audience, do you want to earn one penny from thousand people or $10 from thousand people, right? Obviously $10 from thousand people, right?
Yeah.
So it is or $10 from 100 people, right?
Hmm.
Pennies from thousand people or $10 from 100 people, right? $10 from
Yeah.
100 people is way better.
Hmm.
So yeah, uh, that is the reason. That was the reason that went into me putting my stuff on my own platform. Now here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the most important thing.
Okay.
I tell my I just told my editor yesterday, Praveen, don't copy the tactic, copy the religion. In the
Okay.
sense, I see a lot of artists right now. This is like, they're seeing like people making money with online courses. It's like, I'm going to make an online course, right? And I'm going to make money with it. People who are making money with online course don't make money because they're making online course. They're making money because they're good at it. In the sense, they
Yeah.
put in years and years of work at learning the
Hmm.
craft and making something that's really, really valuable and keyword different, right?
Yeah.
So instead of going and trying to replicate this thing, try to actually find something. See, if you want to do courses, do it, right? Like I'm not
Hmm.
saying I'm not strong. Go for it. I'll tell you how to do that. But try to find something that you're good at because I made drawing cam not because I'm going to make money. I didn't know that I was going to make money with drawing cam. Like
Mhm.
none. When I was making drawing cam, my idea was this: I'm going to create. I'm an investor, right? I'm an investor at heart. In the sense, I invest my time into things that will serve me in the long run. So my
Mhm.
thinking behind creating drawing camp was, I'm going to create something that is going to help my own younger self. That was the only thinking. I didn't know it was like there was like money in courses, or I don't know any of that.
Okay.
And I just made it with like sole passion of helping myself. And then turned out a lot of people wanted that, right? So that's how it worked. Instead of making something, so I would say, instead of copying what other people are doing, I'd recommend people to actually find something that you would need yourself and go and do that, right?
Mhm.
I mean, maybe we'll speak again in 2 years, and I'll be
Yeah.
doing like 2 to 3 other completely different things, and you'll be like, whoa, I didn't think of that. Can artists make money like that? Like, yeah, that's where I'm going, right?
Of course. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but if you want to create course, simple. One, know that you're qualified enough, and also you don't have to be too overqualified. You don't have to be like a
Mhm.
master, right? You need to find a middle ground where you're like good, you've gone through a solid amount of journey to actually learn, actually teach people, and you're good at
Mhm.
communicating, right? Because
Yeah.
people don't want crappy courses anymore, right? Like, people
Mhm.
don't want crappy courses ever, actually. So make sure you're good at teaching, make sure you're good at something. That is
Mhm.
key. Craft, because I was developing a craft for like 15 years before drawing camp. Like 15
Mhm.
years of like just putting out things, like trying and experimenting, learning how to draw, like failing, right? So you don't have to put that much time as well, right? So another thing, so find
Mhm.
something that you're good at, communicate that well, put it in a nice video format, put it in a package that people would find it easy to make that transformation. That is the goal. They don't want a course. Keyword,
Yeah.
right? They don't want a course. They want the transform. When you see someone buying a sketching for beginners course, they don't want the
Mhm.
course. They want to learn how to sketch, right? That is the thing.
Yeah.
And if your course fails to do that, there is no point in that course. You're just extracting money from people at that point. It's basically theft at that point. So make sure, yeah, that's I see a lot of people doing that right these days. It's
Yeah.
like they just putting out crappy. It's like, man, really, wow. So one of the things that helped me get over this hurdle of like, I thought I wasn't good enough to make a course, and I saw this Udemy guy on Udemy. Is like this character design course that had like 300,000 people enrolled on
Yeah.
it. And he was literally, the first lesson was like how to draw a freaking eye. I was like, that's not the first thing that people need to be learning, right? See, even you're getting a cough out of that. I had a heart attack then. And 300 poor souls bought into that. 300,000 poor souls bought into that, you know? And it
Yeah.
was like, this is wrong, right? So, I mean, see, capitalism, I'm a big fan. Like, if you go do something, if you do it wrong, someone will come and do it better. That's me. So,
Yeah.
right? So people will, people will eventually come and do it better. So that's one of the reasons I made drawing camps. I was like, saw that and do it. So step one, no, good at something, learn to communicate
Mhm.
that thing, choose the platform through
Mhm.
which medium through which you're going to communicate. That is step three, which is, are you going to write a book? Mitch Louie
Okay.
writes a book, right? Mitch Louie,
Mhm.
the popular artist, right?
Yeah.
Ross Dross makes Patreon videos, right? I make
Mhm.
online programs, right? So there are different ways. Choose the medium. So written or video, right? Obviously.
Mhm.
So one of the two. And then you can just find literally thousands of platforms. I started out with Teachable, right? You just go to Teachable,
Mhm.
sign up for their
Yeah.
monthly subscription fee, which is like $29, or you can get a free account, or go to
Mhm.
Thinkific or Kajabi, or
Mhm.
there are tons of course platforms out there. You can just simply sign
Mhm.
up and create your own white label website,
Okay.
right? And then you launch it, you tell
Mhm.
people, hey, something like this exists. Guess what? This is what I've been
Mhm.
doing. This is how I've been doing it.
Okay.
Go do it,
Mhm.
like that. So that's the basic thing. Then you need to keep on marketing it. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Marketing in the sense, don't not just running Facebook and Instagram ads, but like the way I try to market is like add value, add value, add value. I like tell people like here's how you can do things. Here's how you can do things. Here's how you can do things. And then for the fourth time, I'll be like, hey, I have this thing. If you want it, you can get it, right? So that is the thing. That is how I do it. So that's like the step by step course creation formula. Couple of things to watch out though. You don't jam pack your course with thousands and thousands of information. Like keep it small, keep it niche, right? Keep it compact, and yeah, do it, and don't sell it like an exuberant price. I don't know the word. Shouldn't have used it in the first place, but yeah, find a reasonable price. People, I
Yeah.
mean, the market will tell you. The people will tell you. It's like if it's too expensive or too, cheap. So that's how you
Yeah.
do it. Did that answer your question?
You did. You did. Thanks for that wonderful
Yeah.
answer, man.
Sure.
The steps are like pretty clear.
Great then, great then.
Cool.
Happy it helps, but know that the clever business types are moving away from it.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
True. True that. Um, that is the set of questions I had in mind for you, Kesh. If at all you want to
Sure.
add anything to the audience, please go ahead.
Right. I don't know. I don't have anything to add. So what is your what kind of audience do you have, or what is the major demographic? Like what are
I don't know. I'm yet to figure it out. So
they?
I've just
Are they
referred to
like
episodes so far.
artists, young
Yeah.
people?
Of course. So the kind of information I get from Anchor. Anchor is the platform which I use to host my
Okay,
uh,
okay. So am I.
audio.
Me too.
Yeah. It's mostly people in their 20s and early 30s, and most of them are of course artists. Since people usually go from Instagram to the podcast, and people who subscribe are artists, of course, and it's mostly that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'd like to end off with this, right?
Yeah.
Because I know what I was doing when I was 20, and I'd like to give
Hmm.
like 5 things to keep in mind when you're in your 20s, early
Hmm.
20s, right? Number
Hmm.
one, know that you don't have to have all of it figured out, because I thought I
Yeah.
had to, and I was confused because of it for a very long time. No, you don't.
Hmm.
Just pick something that you remotely like, work
Hmm.
really, really, really hard at it for like a
Hmm.
couple of months. Don't be focused and see where that takes you, right? That is number one.
Yeah.
Number
Hmm.
two would be like you might have too many passions, too many things that you might want to do, right?
Yeah.
It is good, it is fine. Experiment with all of them, but when you
Hmm.
land on something that you think that is something that's good, go all in on it instead of trying to do too many things at the same time. Grow that
Yeah.
thing, and then later parts of your life you can get to do so many other things. Number
Hmm.
three, be patient, right? Be patient, be chill, don't worry, things will happen, but things will happen when they need to happen, not when you want them to happen.
Yeah.
Because there's only, I have the saying, right, which is either you're patient with life or life will force you
Hmm.
to be patient. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, you got to be patient, right?
Yeah.
So that is one. Number four is know that you don't deserve it. That is the key thing to life. You don't deserve things. You go and earn them. That's how it works. You don't deserve crap. If you want something, you gotta fight for it. And that's the mentality that has helped me. And number five, take responsibility. Stop complaining about how things are around you, and stop complaining like why the world is out to get you and the society is trying to stop you from being an artist and you're not making money and things like that. Stop doing that and just take responsibility, even if it is unfair, right? The world is unfair. It is not fair. It will never be fair. Know that, and be okay with it. And once you're okay with it, you will grow. I'm telling
Yeah.
all of this because I had the exact problems when I was young, and I'm just basically giving this cheat sheet for myself, right? Yeah.
Of
I
course.
just, I just, I just love this Yellowstone quote. I was watching Yellowstone in the series the other day on Amazon Prime. I'll finish off with this quote, and so it's like the old rancher character Kevin Costner and a young boy. They were talking about fairness. What is fair,
Hmm.
right? and why isn't things fair, right? And Kevin Costner's character, right, John Dutton, says like nothing in the world is fair, right?
Of course.
uh, Fairness is what does he say? Is like one side wins something in a way that the other side can't complain, right? One side wins something in a way
Yeah.
that the other side can't complain. And
Yeah.
he'll finish off with saying like there's no such thing as fairness, and that is true, right? So yeah, I mean, see, there are fair people. I think, I'm sorry, I don't want to paint a pessimistic picture. There are fair people, but fairness is a
Yeah.
personal responsibility, not a societal responsibility. That is what I'm trying to say, right?
Of
You can
course.
choose to
Yeah.
treat people fair, right? But
But
you
you can't
can't
be
expect
expected to
other
be
people
treated.
to treat you fairly, right?
Yeah.
That won't work out. So yeah,
Mm.
those are the things, man.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much for sharing all these insights with us, man. You know
Sure,
what?
sure.
This entire past 1 hour, it's mostly about dealing with finances as an artist and having a
Oh yeah,
business.
oh yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I might as well, possibly title it in such terms. Talking finances
Yeah,
with
feel free,
Kesh,
feel free. I don't mind. How to
something like
make
that.
money as an artist.
Another crappy video on the internet.
Possibly. Hopefully, yeah. You got me in it, right?
No
Then
man,
it's definitely
jokes
crappy.
aside, this has been like really really insightful. I don't know how you remember the names of all the books and all these people when you read, and I don't know,
It's
man.
it's like your mom and dad, right? Like you remember your mom, dad, sister, grandma, your
Yeah.
sibling, and your third sister, and all that, right? I've read very few books in my life, so it's easy for me to remember them,
Okay.
right? Like 4 to 5 books. That's it.